Hey everyone, I'm Devin with Sinister Machine Works, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do a review on Ellison Technologies. That's the place where I bought my DN Solutions SBM 4100. And I was trying to, think about what I wanted to say on this review, and um, I kind of got to thinking about it. What what's the point of a review? Um, is it to just talk bad about something, talk good about something, or is it to be informative? Um, in my eyes, informative is always the best. Every company is going to have good and bad things, and a good review will detail all of the things. They might be good 95% of the time. They might be bad a couple of the times. It just goes hand in hand. And in my eyes, a honest review will show both. Um, and it needs to show both because somebody might be looking for a company to work with, and they will show, they'll look at a review, and the review will say, "Oh, this company is perfect," but they won't tell about the things where they have downfalls, and the person looking at that review might be really interested in one of the downfalls, or it might make that one little downfall might make that company an awful fit for them. So, it really got me thinking, how to, give a honest review. And then the second nature of a review is, who is it coming from? Anybody can make a video and talk about anything in the world, give a review on something, but what makes a person qualified to give a review? It could, you could be just a normal person, just talking about something that you had experience with. That's perfect. That's a great review for certain items. Um, to me, I want to talk about my experiences in the industry, or first, before I give you the review of Ellison, just so that you guys can judge me on if I'm qualified to give a review for you. And at the end of the day, that's your guys's um, own option on if my review is a good review for you. I just don't want to have you misinformed. So, that being said, I'm going to go through my experiences with Allison, how I actually came to deal with them in the first place, and my experiences in the industry. So, you can take that, and hopefully my review will work for you. If not, I'm sorry. That you know it's not a good fit for you or whatever. But I just want to be as transparent as possible. So my experiences with Allison actually starts with a sister company of them. Here many years ago, probably like 10 now. I worked for a Fortune 500 company, and we did different weldments and stuff like that. And what we were looking for was a robotic integrator. And what we, my part of looking for this robotic integrator, I was in the help with purchasing and selecting the best fit robotic integrator for our company on this project that we were working on. My role was to with a team, interview multiple integrators, go see their facilities, see what they're proposed to us, and then at the end of the day decide if they're a good fit. We went through multiple of them, and we ended up selecting. At the time, it was Ellison Technologies in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and now they're ACETA. But through that process, I got to work with Ellison of Council Bluffs for a couple years, almost daily. So I got to see the in and outs of how they ran their company. You know, working with them, what they actually, what we bought and what they produced, and I was extremely happy. I can't say one bad thing about working with them. So when I went to buy my first CNC, brand new CNC machine, I should say, it wasn't my first brand new CNC machine. I bought a Tormach and another, actually two lathes from Detroit Machine Technologies or something like that. They're not around anymore. But my Tormach was Series 31100, and that was a hobby machine. The two lathes that I bought from Detroit Machine Tool, or whatever they're called now, or I don't think they're around anymore. Those were like a Chinese lathe that they imported, and my experience with them, they're just awful. Poor support. The machines were junk. So when I went to look for a real, quality CNC machine, I looked at Ellison. Ellison was my dealer for Doosan, and the little bit I knew of Doosan at the time was a lot through Ellison and Council Bluffs, just because they integrated quite a few of them with robots, and I got to see them, passing by and talking to the guys working on them. So my office for the machine tool side is out of Minneapolis, and I went and visited them on their fall show, where all the places around Minneapolis, had demos and stuff going on, and I talked with them, and Tim is my salesman. I can't say enough about him. He's an amazing salesman, great to deal with, straight to the point. I asked him about something. He's like, yep, that's, that would be a good fit for you. Here's what they run. Let me know if you have any questions. No high pressure, nothing like that, which I loved. But I ended up buying a Doosan Lynx Y-axis subspindle lathe at that show. And then I actually had that for a few years, and then I changed my business up and sold it. But that was my first dealing with Ellison at that time. When I bought that, great to deal with. I financed through MFS, which is Ellison set me up with them, and they're great to deal with. I can't say anything bad about them either. Good terms, and I thought the interest rate was great. So after I changed my business up and slowed way down on my machining, I, sold that Lynx, and then I did a bunch of other stuff in life, like people do, and the last couple of years I started ramping up my machining again in different industries. So I was looking to replace my Fadal and Tormach mill that I had. So about a year and a half ago, I started asking Tim, my salesman at Ellison again, about a DN Solutions machine. Actually sent him a smart mini and asked him if he had something like that, and he came back with the SVM 4100, and it really caught my eye on it because it had more options that I really wanted that the smart didn't, and the price was a few dollars difference in that sense. So I talked to him about it for a few months, and then finally, about a year ago, I decided I'm gonna do it. Sent my deposit to him and got it on ordered. Usually they have quite a few machines in stock or coming in. They're a big Doosan or DN Solutions dealer, so they're constantly have inventory rolling in and out. So for me, I wasn't in a hurry. I had to get rid of two machines and reorganize my shop and everything, so I didn't care how fast I got it. It was probably 2 months, I suppose, after is when I finally, said, hey, get that mill delivered or whatever. So they set up the shipping and got it delivered. I did all the unloading and stuff myself and set it in place. And then after I got it set in place, I had to deal with the service side because they send out a tech to level the machine, make sure everything's all assemble everything, make sure your power and everything's good. And the Ellison service side is great. I've never had a problem with them for the little service that I actually needed, which is always a plus. But I'll send them an email and they'll send me something off right away if I have a question on something, or if I'm trying to do something not normal, and they're always great to deal with. So that's a huge plus. It goes hand in hand, like with the machines. It doesn't matter what machine you have. Someday, sometime, you will need service. So picking a machine tool dealer that has great service is every much important as finding the right machine tool for your business. If say that DN Solution SVM 4100 is perfect for you, but you don't have a good dealer in your area, I would probably tell you not to get it, just because sometime you'll need service, and if you can't get service on your machine, you have a huge counterweight or a paperweight that is no good to anybody. It goes the same, say you have a DMG Mori or Okuma. If your dealer is awful, or you have no dealer at all, it will really hurt your business if you have to wait on somebody to fix something or get you a part, and you're just stuck there with a machine not making any money, and it's really bad if you're making a payment on it. So I'm fortunate enough that I have Ellison really close by. If I need service, usually it's next day, or worst case 2 days out. But they have enough techs going around that they can service or install, lots of stuff. And DN Solutions, they have tons of parts on hand in the U.S., so getting parts is not a big deal. Where certain other companies, you might have to overnight ship from Europe or Japan or somewhere, so you're paying a lot more just for shipping to get these parts, where other places, maybe like Haas or something has them on hand, or like DN Solutions has them on hand, and they can next day air out of, I think it's New Jersey is where their warehouse is. But stuff like that is huge when you're selecting a dealer. I would say, the bad thing, the only bad thing I've seen with Ellison is they don't have standardized pricing, throughout the company. each dealer or location kind of sets their pricing. And somebody might ask me, "Hey, what'd you pay for your machine?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, this is what I paid." And they're like, "Oh, well, I have a different dealer and they're more, or I have a different dealer and they're less." In my eyes, it's kind of like car companies or car dealers. You can go to one car dealer and say you're going to buy a pickup. It's $80,000. You go to the next one, it's $70,000. No rhyme or reason that I know of. It's just, kind of how it is. And that business model works for them. In my eyes, just being a small guy, it'd be nice to, kind of know your prices and have standard prices across the board. But it might not work for them, and you can't hold them at fault for that, because that'd just be, just like complaining to Target that you can buy this TV at Walmart for $50 less than they have it, or vice versa. It's each place is going to have a different price, and it's kind of how it is. I guess I as to my the only thing that I can say negative about them in that sense, for me, I'm fine with it, because I feel the price that I get from them has always been a fair price, and in comparison to like a Haas or something else, I've noticed that they've always actually been less price. Like a Haas, VF2 or whatever, base price is going to be less than like a 5700, but your standard options on the DN Solutions is going to be way above the standard options on the Haas. Like a 8,000 RPM spindle on the Haas versus a 12,000 RPM on the DN Solutions. If you add the 12,000 RPM on the Haas, well, now you're within pennies of the DN Solutions, and then you start adding all the extra options that the DN has. It will usually bring the Haas way overpriced compared to what you'd have on your DN Solutions. So, that's just kind of how it goes. There's other brands too. I obviously haven't dealt with everybody, but my experiences with buying stuff and dealing with service and stuff like that, I'm very confident to recommend Ellison Technologies to anybody that's looking for something, just because of my great experience with them. I hope if you deal with them that you have the exact same experience as me, and I feel that you will, because Ellison as a company has really high standards for their quality of service and support. So, say if you have a problem with something, just mention it to your dealer, and I feel that your problem would get resolved. They can't oversee every single employee, with a fine-tooth comb. So if you have a problem on the service side, run it up to the service manager and say, "Hey, I'm not getting service from blah blah blah. Can you help?" And I believe that your problem would be resolved very quickly. That being said, I highly recommend Ellison. So if you're looking for a machine tool and Ellison's in your dealer network or your area, I should say, reach out to them. They've been great to work with for me, and I feel like you guys would also have a great experience with them. If you got any questions, feel free to ask. Sorry, kind of got a long video, but I wanted to make sure I was pretty thorough on it. But have a great day, and like and subscribe. Thanks.